All right, team, happy TGIF again. Today is Friday, July 21st. And as usual, I find myself here in the comfort of the Canvas Real Estate Miami Lakes office. I'm joined today by two agents, Ricardo and Orlando, who's actually a new agent who has just joined our office. So all is good. And as all of you know, whoever is following and whoever listens to these recordings after the fact, I am going to be sharing from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Today's lesson is part 2 from the 6 Mythunderstandings of the real estate business, according to Gary Keller, the author of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So to start, I'm looking to possibly go about 30 plus minutes into this recording and teaching, give or take. So hopefully all of you will stay with me for that time upon listening to the recording. And if not, you could listen to it in chunks of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or just listen to it throughout and go back and revisit. The last 2 recordings and the last 2 lessons that I have done, I believe have been some of the most powerful ones that I have shared with you in all these 6 months that I've been doing the group coaching sessions with all of you. And the reason for that is because 2 of these subjects are part of something that I'm passionate about, especially the part of the 3 L's, which is listing, leads, and leverage. And then last week, it was part 1 of the 6 Mythunderstandings that real estate agents have. Now, in regards to that, there's limitations that each and every one of us have. However, it is different. There is a difference of you having those limitations and you allowing those limitations to become a limitation to you. And that's where the 6 Mythunderstandings come into play. So for now, we're going to review the 6 Mythunderstandings, with the first one being, I can't do it. Myth number 1, truth, until you try, you can't possibly know what you can or can't do. Number 2, myth, it can be done in my market. Truth, yes, it can, but you may need a new approach. Myth number 3, it would take too much time and effort. I would lose my freedom. Truth is time and effort are not the deciding factors in success. 4, which is what we're going to be sharing today. Myth number 4, it's too risky. I'll lose money. Truth, risk is in direct proportion to how well you hold your incremental costs accountable to producing incremental results. Myth number 5, my clients will only work with me. Only I can deliver quality service. True, your clients aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to the standards you represent. And 6, myth, having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing. True, having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. So part of what I seek to convey to all of you is the part of the difference between the top producing agents and the average agent. And one of them is mindset. So the last 2 weeks, I've really gone into a little bit more on the mindset. And I believe this lesson will also feed into that and building your mindset. And this goes along with the bold laws that I'm posting on the WhatsApp on a regular basis, on a daily basis, systematically. And all that is meant to build your mindset, because the challenge in life is that we all have this baggage from our past. Okay. We all have been through experiences, circumstances that have been challenging to us. And we carry those and we bring those forward and even to the moment. But the reality is that all that stuff and all that past and those negative experiences, all you could do is really just learn from them. So here's one of the truths from Coach, okay? And this is what I have learned. And again, what I'm sharing is things that I have learned personally, but that I have learned from others who have gone before me and who are further ahead than me. And based on my experience as a John Maxwell certified training coach and leadership coach, John Maxwell says that the saying goes that experience is the best teacher. And that's what most people say. And most people may probably agree to that. However, John Maxwell says that evaluated experiences is the best teacher. So what does he mean by that? And better said, what do I mean by that? Is whenever you're in a circumstance, situation, and you're going through a process, and it could be an interaction you have with someone, it could be a challenge you're going through a season, it could be, some troubling situation or anything. It's at the end of it, when you break through and when everything is finally said and done and settled, and better said, the dust is settled, is taking the time to evaluate and see what was there for you to learn. What could you take from that? And what could you move forward? And how could you leverage that in your life? Well, it's no different. It's no different in this business and in anything. Again, evaluate those experiences. So let's jump right into the lesson. I'm going to be doing some reading. Again, I encourage each and every one of you to acquire a copy of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And Ricardo is probably tired of this joke, but I'm going to say it again. It's going to set you back $7. Ricardo picked up a copy on somewhere online for $7, or it costs you $15, $20, or $30 if you go to a Barnes and Noble. But I encourage each and every one of you to get a copy of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, in which, from the circles that I came, it is considered the real estate Bible. And reading from the MREA book on page 57, myth number 4, or the fourth common myth understanding, is it's too risky, I'll lose money. Truth, risk is in direct proportion to how well you hold your incremental costs accountable to producing incremental results. So Gary Keller, in this book and in different trainings that I have been involved with, he says that for every dollar that you invest in this real estate business, you should expect a 10-fold return on it. And I did this example with an agent just recently about taking a listing. And he was thinking of taking a listing, and not thinking, he was in the process of taking a listing. And basically, I told him, he's a new agent, that's going to be his first transaction. And I told him, you're going to invest about $750, give or take. All right. Now, the listing that he's going to take is about 400,000. All right. If everything goes well for him, and again, I don't know what the commission he's going to charge his seller, and the seller happens to be his mother, by the way. And I would say 2.5% on 400,000. So that's $10,000 that he's going to earn gross commission. Then he has a split with the office. But at the end of the day, he's probably going to take anywhere between $7,000 to $8,000, I would say. Now, the 10-to-1 investment shows up in that particular example. He's going to invest about $750 because, again, he has to pay a photographer. He has to put up a sign. He's going to do a little bit of marketing. Again, give or take, $700 plus $750. Earnings, $775, between $7,000 and $8,000. There it is, a 10-to-1. So that's one small example of what Gary Keller says about holding your costs accountable to producing an incremental result. So let's read. Anyone who has ever spent any time in the boardroom knows that when it comes to expenses, there are basically two kinds of people. There are those who cry, it costs too much, and there are those who counter, we cannot afford not to do it. Now, I will tell you from experience, one of the, looking back in my career of 20 plus years, one of the mistakes that I have done is I have not invested enough in my business. I've invested on myself. If I invested money, it has been on myself. And when I say on myself, has been in my growth, my trainings, okay, my books, going to seminars. You know, I cannot tell you how much I've invested in my trainings and how many hours, but it has been a lot of money. The mistake that I have done is not investing in the marketing and advertising. Now, for those of you that know me, you may be thinking, okay, coach is being double, he's talking by both sides of his mouth, because he's teaching about lead generating, prospecting, and fishing, showing you part of the productivity coaching program, as you know, is me showing you how to fish, how to find new prospects, and how to lead generate. But the truth of the matter is that, yes, you need to do that, combine it with a little bit of marketing dollars, a little bit of advertising, whatever it is. I know nowadays it's advertising and social media. Personally, I cannot quantify those funds that I have invested in social media marketing, because I really have not seen the result of it. And chances are is that I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm not spending enough money to see a result on it. The bottom line is that, yes, I have a social media presence with those within my sphere, and not even those. Maybe I might have maybe 10 to 20% of my past clients that might be on my social media, but it's my colleagues and other people along the way on my social media channels. But I will tell you that I've had to like really press forward and really pull out all the stops based on my goals and based what I want to accomplish within the next couple of years. And over the last 12 plus months, and actually since January of last year, I've really made an effort to amp it up a little bit more in my social media. And that's, and you know, that's in all different, my different social media channels, my Facebook, my YouTube, my Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Those are the 5 main ones. I'm not on TikTok. I'll leave TikTok to Ricardo. Okay, so that's for people who like to dance. That's my understanding. I like to dance, by the way. I like to dance, but not in front of the camera. So, but again, going back, bringing this full circle, is you have to make a little bit of investment in your real estate business as well as prospecting. Continuing, going back to the book, is millionaire real estate agents know how to operate when the end result is unclear. They understand that if you hold your costs accountable for corresponding incremental results, if you stay engaged after you write the check and evaluate the direct results of writing that check before writing more, you can greatly minimize your risk. Now, for Ricardo, writing a check, what is that, coach? Ricardo, let me show you. In case you're wondering, let me show you. That's a check. For those of you, this is what a check looks like, okay? So I'm not talking mystery stuff, and I'm not talking foreign stuff. All right, that's what Gary Keller is sharing here about the check. And again, you'll see that I throw a little bit of my humor into it for whatever it's worth, and try to lighten the lesson. But that's what he means about the check. You need to hold your check that you write, and and have incremental results as he has shared. Continuing here on page 57 is, once you have a green light, you increase your expenses by an appropriate amount to accomplish a corresponding goal. Now that you've increased your expenses, you must hold that incremental increase accountable to deliver an incremental increase in income. You're now sitting at a red light, and you'll continue to sit there with no increase in your spending until you see the appropriate incremental increase in your income. Once an acceptable incremental increase shows up for that level of spending, the light turns from red to green, and you're now free to add another incremental increase in spending. So let me summarize what he means by that. There's the philosophy of playing green light, red light in spending, and especially in this real estate business. When things get tight, now you got to watch your dollars even more than ever. Okay? Because again, it's you got to get a return on your investment. And when things are slow, that means it's slow for everyone. So I know that might be a little bit counterproductive, because when things are slow, then you amp it up and you seek out more clients and you advertise more. In this real estate business, it's a little bit different. Okay. When you turn on the green light, is that things are good, and now you're looking, to even bring more market share. And that about market share, and hopefully I'll get in these lessons into that particular subject about market share and what to do to gain more market share. But again, us as real estate agents and us as business owners, remember, when you got your real estate license, you opened up a business, and you need to run your real estate career as a business. And part of running your real estate career as a business is watching your investment dollars, watching where your money goes. Okay. Doesn't mean that you just become a cheapskate and you become stingy and as frugal as you could be, because if not, it's it may happen to you what's happened to me, that I have not pushed my business forward enough. Okay. So you got to play green light, red light, and according to how the market shows up. Here on page 58, don't pay for a second of anything until you're sure the first one is producing great results. Red light, green light is how you can greatly reduce the risk of increased spending. And to finalize on this fourth common myth understanding, says any dollar you spend that increases your net profit is ultimately a dollar well invested. For one person, that dollar represents cost. For another, it represents an investment. For millionaire real estate agents understand, or better said, millionaire real estate agents understand the difference between costs and investments. They play red light, green light, and add costs incrementally, hold them accountable to incremental gains, and then only then move forward. Overcoming the it's too risky myth understanding is about evaluation, engagement, and patience. Fifth common myth understanding: my clients will only work with me, only I can deliver quality service. Truth, your clients aren't loyal to you, they are loyal to the standards you represent. So what does the crux of this particular one is for those agents that are looking to build a team or thinking of building a team? Again, I'm going to place myself in the mix as to where I have failed in this. By nature, I'm a perfectionist. And being that I'm a perfectionist, I want to make sure things are done in a proper way, in a proper manner. My assistant will be able to tell you that I like things done. I'm systematic. That's the way I'm wired. Okay. And that's where this comes into play about being systematic, creating systems. Okay. At some point, if you want to grow your business and you're looking to build a team, then you need to let go of those things and being a micromanager and you not wanting for things to go wrong. That's part of the process. That's part of growing your business, is that there's going to be mistakes along the way. So in this case, to tell you the truth, and this is reading from page 59, Gary Keller says, to tell you the truth, this is probably the number one reason great real estate agents don't succeed to their highest potential. To become a millionaire real estate agent, you will have to hire additional help. Some millionaire real estate agents have small staffs. Eventually, to reach your highest sales potential, you will have to learn to delegate responsibilities and authority to others. So here's a big aha for me when I read this, and it's here in my book highlighted. Please hear me and hear me well. This is Gary Keller, not me. I'm reading from the book, page 60. Please hear me and hear me well. If you get nothing else out of this book, please consider this important point. Whatever services you provide, as specialized as they may be, can be duplicated through the right people implementing systems to achieve standards you approve. Most successful real estate agents hold themselves to unwritten personal standards in these areas without always being able to articulate them quickly. Yet they all seem to be able instantly to recognize the moment their standards have been breached. The right approach to delegating tasks is to determine clearly what experience your clients and you expect your services to deliver, and then articulate that to your staff so they too can deliver that experience. Systems are simply roadmaps, instructions that allow these standards to be repeated and duplicated easily. If systems and standards could not ensure the duplication of a particular level of service, then all companies will be made up of one person. So let's take a pause here and let's break this down. Let's take the example of McDonald's. Okay. McDonald's, you could go to a McDonald's here in Hialeah, one in Kendall, one in South Beach, one in China, one in Europe, anywhere, or wherever you go, you know what to expect the moment that you walk through the lobby. Why? Because there's a system in place. Another example is UPS. You know that what to expect from UPS because of the system. You see the brown truck out there, you see the guy dressed in a brown uniform, sweating. He's running back and forth. They have, in order to make that work, is systems. Fast forward to a company that all of you are familiar, Amazon. I tried to analyze a little bit Amazon, and I could only imagine the logistical network and system that they have in place in order to get a package from point A to point B to point C and so on, that they use different carriers. So the other day, a UPS carrier showed up on my door with an Amazon package. And me and my wife, we were looking at each other. She said, no, I was expecting something from Amazon, but I don't know why UPS is delivering it. I guess UPS now is part of their network. And that goes on, and you'll order something from Amazon, and I'm sure all of you could attest, it either comes either from the post office, someone delivers it in your front door, a FedEx guy shows up, and now to my surprise, a UPS guy shows up, and they're using all kinds of network. Well, that's all system. Well, in our business, it's the same way. It's the systems that you put in place, that you invest the time, and now that you roll it over, and that others, as your business grows, and you add other team players to your team, that the systems is what doesn't change. Everything will work the same. Everything will look uniform. Okay, so that's what this part is about, the myth that it's your clients or my client will only work with me, only I can deliver quality service. And the truth is, no, your clients aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to the standards you represent. To wrap up this fifth myth, these companies stake their reputation on their standards and they teach their employees how to duplicate. The Disney philosophy is the front line and the bottom line. And the last sentence here on page 61 of this myth is, the interesting truth is when you systemize services to a defined standard so others can deliver them, your clients actually get better service, and it isn't that what you're after. And better said, and isn't that what you're after for the customer experience of your clients? Going into the sixth myth. Having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing. True. Having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. So I'm going to share again from my personal experience. When I started buying into setting goals, I came to the challenge that, man, I'm writing goals, I'm looking to hit my goals, but things happen and actually they go south and they go negative. Actually, it's worse when I set the goals than having the goals. How could that be? And I was scratching my head. And I'm saying, how could that be? Well, and again, I had to analyze that. But now I'm finding that, yes, you have to have goals. And it's not the goals in your mind, it's the goals that you have on paper. And that's one, and that's really, and I'm sharing now here this part with Orlando, who's here, that one, the productivity coaching program has 3 phases. Phase number 1 is setting goals. What is your target? What are you looking to hit? What are you looking to accomplish? Phase number 2 is having a time management, having a schedule, a working schedule. And then phase 3 is the areas of your real estate business that you're going to look for new business. That could be expired, for sale by owners, farming, your sphere of influence, different. There's so many categories. Okay. So again, going back to the goals, fear of failure is so common, it even has its own phobia. According to the book here, I'm going to try to pronounce it, is kakoraphobia. Forget about it. Well, actually, I have it here. Is kakoraphobia. Only once. The problem for some of us is that overcoming our fear of failure, especially public failure, is very difficult to accomplish. Here, Gary Keller has an example of someone, and actually I'll go through it and maybe you could guess it. So let's have a little bit of fun. It's I'm 30 minutes into the lesson. I think I'll be able to wrap it up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So when I share these facts, I'm going to ask to see if any of you are able to answer who this person is. And I'm going to omit the year. Failed in business, bankruptcy. Defeated for legislature. Failed in business, bankruptcy. Fiance died, nervous breakdown. Defeated in election. Defeated for U.S. Congress. Defeated for U.S. Congress. Defeated for U.S. Senate. Defeated for vice president. Defeated for the U.S. Senate. And yet that person actually became a president, and perhaps one of the best presidents that our country has ever had. Okay, so, all right, so Ricardo knows the answer, but I'm not going to allow him to give the answer. I'm going to have, let me see if Vanessa or Orlando could answer who that person was. And no, who the person, who the facts that I just shared, and he became president. Who is that person that I just shared that he had all these failures in his life? And all of you have seen it. It's actually in one of your bills, one of your currency. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, all that. Those were all his failures. And yet he became president. So that goes to show you that setting goals and not accomplishing them is not a failure. It's only a failure, as it says here, is having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. So to summarize it, you need to have goals and written goals. Here's a thought. You cannot fail unless you quit. So this I learned, and I didn't learn it from this book. I learned it somewhere else, is the only moment that you lose is the moment when you quit. You may be closer to your breakthrough and accomplishing your goal than you ever thought. But if you quit before you accomplish it, then that's when you lose. Continuing on page 62, if there is anything that history bears out, it is that failure almost always precedes success. Thomas Edison, who claimed to have failed 1,000 times before successfully designing the light bulbs. Let me read that again. If there's anything that history bears out, it is that failure almost always precedes success. There's so many similar examples. Probably the most famous is Thomas Edison, who claimed to have failed 1,000 times before successfully designing the light bulb. So here's a question. What if he had stopped at 999 times? We wouldn't be sitting in this room, possibly. Theodore Giselle, also known as Dr. Zeus, was rejected 27 times before finding a publisher. Mark Victor Hansen's Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected by more than 30 publishers before going on to sell more than 70 million copies worldwide. Henry Ford failed and went broke 5 times, and the list goes on and on and on. Reference page 62 for the other examples. One of the secrets to great success is to change your perspective on failure. You see, everyone experiences failures before they ultimately succeed. People like Edison, Ford, and Lincoln chose to view failure as a learning experience to build on and not as a permanent defeat. It may sound like double talk, but failure is progress. And at the very least, in attempting to achieve a dream and failing, you've learned to eliminate that approach the next time you try. Use your failures as stepping stones. The next time you try something, bear in mind that history has made it very clear that you will probably have to fail a few times before you get it right. Remember Lincoln? Too many people live their lives under the mistaken assumption that success is a matter of avoiding failure. The problem with that approach to living is that when you actively avoid failure, you tend to avoid challenges as well. Success is not about avoiding failure. Failure is about avoiding failure. Success is about trying. And the last sentence on this is, let me tell you the secret, according to Gary Keller. Let me tell you the secret that has led me to my goal. My strength lies solely in my tenacity. So my question to all of you is, what drives you? What's your tenacity? What's your level? And for those of you who have seen my posting in WhatsApp about the difference between the top producing agent and average agent, you have there, you will see the self-will, the will to succeed. So that's my question. What is your will to succeed in this real estate business? What's your big why? Again, another one of those subjects. What's your big why? Why are you doing this business? So for the answer to that question, you could share it with me in the future when we meet or when we speak, or as I see your business develop. So for now, I'm going to ask those who have participated and those who are here as to give me a big aha or your takeaway on anything that I have shared. So I'm going to start, being that I'm a gentleman at heart, as all of you know, I'm going to start with the ladies, and we do have one lady here in the house. Actually, we have two ladies. I'm sorry, Marlene. I'm sorry, Marlene. So we have two ladies in the house, and actually we have another lady online, Andrea, and welcome, Andrea. So I'm going to start with you, Marlene. I don't know if you overheard anything that I've shared. And what was any big aha and anything that you've heard me share on this lesson today?
Well, I think what I honed in the most that people that are successful because they never gave up.
Yes.
Every no is closer to a yes.
Yes.
And they never took it personal, because if they would have taken it personal, okay, they wouldn't have tried a second, a third, or an 80th time. I don't know if when you were talking about these individuals, if Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, no, it was, it might be here, but.
It's probably there, and there's a documentary about his success that
Mhm.
came later in life. And look, the empire that he actually built, because he never gave up. and never
Absolutely.
took it personal.
Absolutely.
And in our business, I've been in it, what, 23 years? I've learned that one of my favorite words is next,
Yes,
next.
absolutely.
If this door closed, another one is gonna open up.
Absolutely.
And that's the way we have to look at this business.
Absolutely. And that leads me, so you see, when I sit here and I hear the agents talk, it leads me to other thoughts. So part of the productivity coaching program is about tracking your numbers. And the reason that you're tracking your numbers is because you need to know how many contacts you made in order to find one lead. How many from those leads, how many led to appointments? So you're tracking you're tracking contacts, you're tracking leads, you're tracking appointments, and then from appointments, how many did you close? How many became opportunities? How many became signed agreements? And signed agreements, listing agreements, or buyer's agent agreements. Now, if you don't do that, then you don't know where your gap is at. You could be a great communicator and make a lot of contacts, but not lead to appointments. You could do lead to appointments and not convert. So then you got to figure out what it is that your gap is in closing the transaction. So that's the reason for tracking. So thank you for adding, Marlene, being added value. Vanessa, what was anything on something that you heard in the time that you have been here that was a big aha?
I think for me it was the perspective of failure, having to fail multiple times in order to get it.
Okay, so I don't know if it was recorded, but she said the perspective of failures, that having to fail X amount of times in order to succeed. That was her takeaway. So thank you for sharing, Vanessa. Andrea, I know you've been only a few minutes on the call, and I don't know how much you have gotten from the lesson, but if you could share any big ahas that you're taking away from what I've shared.
I'm actually driving and used I was able to connect, but I kind of missed some of it because I'm not going through a good area. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
But thank you for asking me to participate.
All right, not a problem. So this,
happy-
so this recording is, I'm sorry, this recording is going to be posted shortly in the WhatsApp group, and it's gonna be loaded to the YouTube channel. So you won't
Perfect.
miss anything I've shared. All right, but thank you for joining, All right, Orlando. Anything that stuck out or anything that was a big aha for you? All right, so Orlando says, being persistent and constant in your goals. That's what he's taking away. Good take. And least but not last, Mr. Ricardo, take us home. Okay. 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 So for Ricardo was the part of the money, holding your money accountable, and that whatever you invest, expect a return. And what he was talking about is that he made an investment of putting out some signs, some for rent signs, some for sale signs, and he's seeing the fruit of that investment. And now when he gets a listing, he knows he's going to have to invest in a lockbox and have to invest in signs because that's part of this business. So with that said, I think that I've shared enough information. Again, we will be here. I will be here next Friday, God willing, for our continuous series on the MREA. And just to give you a teaser, on the next our next lesson is going to be the attack strategy, the 9 ways an MREA thinks. So if you're a thinker, you want to join me next Friday, and I don't know if that's going to be a 1-part, 2-part, or 3 parts, but we'll see when we get there. So until then, take care, and I wish all of you a great day and much success in all you set out to do.